good news can often get overlooked or buried by the negative in our everyday lives. So let's change that. I'm Adrianna.
And I'm Wyatt.
We're just two ordinary people without any special qualifications or anything, trying to navigate life. We invite you to join us as we share wholesome stories, news articles of hope, and ideas about how we can all make the world just a little bit brighter. We are Uplifting Positive Stories. Welcome back to another episode of Uplifting Positive Stories. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
And welcome to October. The year is almost to a close.
I know. I truly have lost track of what day it is. And Wyatt had for work to go up to the North Shore to get pictures of the leaves changing. And I was like, oh, it's too early for the leaves to be changing. I doubt they've changed much. And I'm like, wait a second. It's October. What happened? It's great because it doesn't feel like October. It's been so warm. But we actually have some exciting news. We've talked about, we batch record these, especially because we've been in our busy seasons. We usually do a few episodes at a time. So there's been a bit of a time jump. But
even more so, we've been holding on to something for quite a bit of time now.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the name of the episode, you might be able to take a guess at what it could be.
We're expecting. Woo! So we're super excited. It's going to be our first kid. We're having a boy and we're due in February. So I'm about 22 weeks at this point.
As of this recording, you're just over 22 weeks.
Yeah. So we are super, super excited. And we thought it would be really fun to do an episode kind of to celebrate about positive pregnancy stories and positive parenting stories. So kind of a fun episode to celebrate.
Are there any funny ones in there as well?
There are.
Because there's definitely some pregnancy brain is definitely a thing sometimes.
It's true. Pregnancy brain is a thing. There's funny things with food aversions and stuff like that. It's or food cravings that are why is that a food craving that I'm having? There's a lot of funny things that come with pregnancy. And just exciting, fun things, cute things that happen too. So there's a lot of great stories out there.
Yeah. And we're really excited as of now, everything's looking good and healthy. We've learned a few things about him. It's a boy. We're having a boy. That from our ultrasound, that he's a little feisty. He's a moving little guy.
He did not want to sit still for the ultrasound tech at all.
He was so difficult that we had to do another ultrasound to be able to get every angle of him.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, so it's been really, really fun. But yeah, should I jump in?
But moving away from us, now we can go into other stories.
All right, let's do it. So our first story here comes from the subreddit Pregnant, and it is titled, Tell Us a Cute Story About Your Pregnancy. So this was the first post, and then I'll read the comment, and the comment is my favorite part of this.
Oh, okay.
So someone said, people said that they wanted more positivity, so I'm taking matters into my own hands.
Excellent.
Share cute pregnancy stories below. I'll go first. We have 2 cats. The female one is pretty reserved and only sits on our laps occasionally. Well, I'm 15 weeks and she just started kneading my belly every day for a couple of minutes. She's never kneaded people. We call her Little Doula and joke that she's just checking to make sure everything is okay. So
what's
kneading, when they rub their paws against you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was the licking thing or if that was
kneading,
something else.
I think it's when they rub their paws. And I've heard that's true too, that a lot of times pets can kind of sense when you're pregnant and stuff. I haven't noticed that with our big dog, but our little dog Gimli has been, ever since I got pregnant, a lot more clingy and a lot more he usually would be I want to sit on the opposite end of the couch from you while you're working during the day. Now he's right up against me and wanting to cuddle all the time. At nighttime, he wants to be right nestled into my neck. He's just been very clingy, which has been very interesting.
Yeah, it's hard to say how much of that is he's sensing that you're pregnant or that you were admittedly you were struggling a little bit with morning sickness, especially the first trimester. Yeah. And maybe he was just oh, mom's in discomfort. I'm going to comfort. Or maybe a combination of the two. I don't know.
But still really sweet either way.
Legos has been very indifferent.
Yeah, our big dog
acting no differently.
But hey,
Which is very surprising.
Yeah, it's funny. So yeah, let's jump into the comment here. Someone posted, my fiance and I consider a Goofy movie to be our movie because it's the first film that we watched together and we love every second of it.
Very parenting related.
Yeah.
That movie.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I took a page out of a moment in the film. Context. There's a scene where Goofy and his angsty teenager Max are eating alphabet soup, and Goofy remembers when Max was little and used to spell little words like "Hi, Dad" with the letters. Before they fall asleep in the present, teenage Max silently passes the soup can to Goofy, and Goofy sees Max has left the letters to read "Hi, Dad." It's an emotional moment. So, when I found out that I was pregnant, I opened a can of alphabet soup and wrote "Hi, Dad" in a bowl and gave it to my fiance at lunchtime. It took him a second, and then I showed him 3 positive pregnancy tests, and we just started...
Yeah. That's thorough.
And we just started hugging and tearing up, all happy. Yeah.
That's cute.
Isn't that sweet? I love, like, little... ways of people announcing their pregnancy that are really sweet. I love watching reels of people doing that. It's super fun. We had some fun kind of pregnancy announcement stuff ourselves that we did for our family.
Yeah, and our friends. With one of our group of friends, we just sent like a series of like gifts, however you say it, to our friends, like that were sort of like hinting at it, like it was like a little chicken nugget first, and like they first are like okay, and then they send back like another chicken thing, and then we sent like a peanut, and like it just kept going. They're like, wait a second. And they started doubting things, you know, and like
it was funny. My dad, for Father's Day, we've all been busy. We weren't able to get together till a little bit later after Father's Day, so we had a delayed gift for him. And so as part of it, my dad loves the game Dungeons and Dragons, and I found...
As do we. We tend to play it with our friends.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's why I catered it to him. And so we found this shirt on Etsy that said "Awesome Grandpa's Explore Dungeons and Slay Dragons." And we put that in his gift, and it was a really, really sweet moment. It was cute when he saw it and realized what that meant. It was really cute.
Yeah, he got it immediately.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
My dad didn't with his. He got a hockey grandpa hat
because he loves hockey.
He didn't get it. He thought he just looked down to our dogs like, yeah, I am a grandpa. I'm like, no, Dad, we're having a baby.
It was sweet though. Awesome. All right, on to our next story here. So this next one comes from the subreddit Baby Bumps, and it is titled, "Share your funniest pregnancy stories / experiences with us. I'm looking for the kind of laughter that my squished bladder doesn't stand a chance against."
That is definitely a thing.
All right, the first one someone posted. "I emptied the dishwasher the other day only to find no dishes in the cabinets. I got mad at my husband because I assumed he used them all. He looked so confused and innocent when I confronted him, but I literally couldn't find my favorite mug or bowl for breakfast. Turns out I emptied the dishwasher into the fridge. I literally rearranged the fridge contents to make space for the dishes. The utensils were in the vegetable drawer. We ate breakfast on cold plates. I have never been more of a zombie."
Dang. How far pregnant were they?
They didn't say.
Oh, okay.
But that's funny, though.
That is funny.
I've heard that there were a lot of stories like that of people putting stuff in the fridge, which is really funny. It's a common thing. Another person posted...
You haven't had anything that that extent.
No,
I can't even think of they're just more like...
I'll be like talking, and I have like more noticeably for me than usual. Like I just kind of lose what I was gonna say, and I'm like, oh shoot, I don't remember now.
See, a lot of things that times she's like, oh, pregnancy brain. I'm like, that's just my brain. Like, am I pregnant all the time? That like I have space moments, or is it because I'm blonde?
No,
self roast on blondes.
No. All right, the next one someone posted, "I made coffee, put creamer in, and then autopilot placed my coffee mug into the fridge and the creamer into my cabinet where the clean mugs go.
Oh no.
I walked out of the room, sat down, and went to lift up the coffee mug I did not have. I spent 20 minutes trying to find my coffee, gave up, opened up the cabinet to find the creamer on the shelf, put my new mug down to brew, fixed that cup up, and opened the fridge to put the bottle back to find my first mug of coffee, now chilled. I also put a cooked, half-eaten grilled cheese with the plate into my hamper. It sits next to the trash. Why did I think to throw away a plate? I don't know. But I had cheese to clean off of my clothes while crying. These were back-to-back days."
Aww.
Oh, unfortunate.
Hopefully they're able to laugh at it and
I'm
not
sure.
just be
they posted it on a
upset.
funny story thread. So clearly now they're laughing. But when you are feeling hormonal, it's easy to cry at the easiest things. It's like, no, I don't want to clean the cheese off my clothes right now. I don't have the energy. So it's kind of funny though.
Who does?
All right, on to our next set of stories. These ones are cute. So this one comes from the subreddit Ask Reddit, and the question was, "Parents, what's the most wholesome thing your child has done for you?" So we've got a few stories.
So now we're entering
parenting and
post-birth, past pregnancy.
Cute stories.
Not there yet.
Kids.
I'm sure we'll have our own. I hope we have our own.
I hope so.
We've already started to hear some stories from our friends that have recently had kids and stuff, and it's like,
yes.
wow, that's interesting. I'm curious what's gonna happen with ours.
Yeah, it's so funny. The first one here says, I'd had a really rough day and thought my 4-year-old was occupied downstairs with Dad, so I took the opportunity to have a little cry. She came upstairs and saw me. I assured her I was just feeling a little sad, but it was nothing she needed to worry about. A few minutes later, she comes back and hands me a tissue, her favorite stuffed animal, and a flower. Then she climbs up to give me a hug and asks if I'd rather have a snuggle and a nice story, or a few minutes just to be alone. Then she invented a super cute story about a house whose walls make everyone feel better.
How old was this kid?
Didn't say. 4. 4 years old.
Dang.
Isn't that sweet?
They've raised that kid well then, like with some kind of emotional intelligence, you know?
Yeah, especially would you rather be alone right now or would you rather I snuggle and tell you a story? Like, they must do that to her.
They have to.
That. Yeah. Kind of a
because sometimes you need a good cry. We've been told that by one of our friends who's had, a baby and stuff, and like wasn't trying to like scare us or anything, but was like, hey, just so you know, like these are some of the struggles I went through, and it's okay if you need to like take a break and go to a corner by yourself and cry or something like that. Yeah. It's okay to get a good cry out every once in a while,
Right, because you're always on as a parent and stuff, and sometimes you just need that moment to decompress.
Yeah. And with that, I'd also just add a side point of it's good to communicate to people. If you're struggling, communicate it. You don't have to pretend like everything is like, like I'm so positive and happy all the time. This baby's the best thing's ever happened to me. I've heard from so many people now, like, I don't think that's true. Let's stop pretending like it is. Let's just admit when we're struggling.
Right.
And then we'll get through it.
Right.
Admits that that's great stuff as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I say this as someone who's approaching going into it,
Well, yeah, but it also applies to pregnancy as well, because like that was something that I wasn't prepared for. Was like morning sickness for me was so bad, and I had only ever heard of morning sickness in the context of like what you see in TV and movies of like, that was nasty, I smelled something gross, I threw up and now I feel fine, we're good again. I didn't realize morning sickness could be like you're sick 24/7 for weeks. Like I really truly didn't know, and like that was hard for me because I was so thankful to be pregnant and so excited. And then I was just miserable for weeks. And that's not everyone's experience. There's a lot of people that are pregnant that feel great the whole time and not having morning sickness. Obviously, there's other discomforts, but like overall, they feel pretty good. And so unfortunately, that was my experience. And it was hard to like talk about that. And I still am struggling a little tiny bit. It's hard to like talk about that because we want to be positive and we don't want to like make it seem like we're not happy that we're pregnant, because we are. Yeah. It's just a hard thing to be like, yeah, I'm struggling, in the midst of positivity. And overall, like this story example, the mom obviously was probably pretty happy overall. It's just she had a moment where she was not feeling, herself and needed to cry. Yeah. And so acknowledging that that's okay. And it's okay to cry or break down or to talk to others about the struggle part of it too. Yeah. Even if you are overall enjoying it, it's okay that there are times that you don't or you're struggling.
Yeah. But back to the specific story, keep doing what you're doing. That kid seems like they're turning out pretty good so far. Yeah. At least from that little like snippet, the glimpse into their lives.
Yeah. Super sweet. All right. Next one here from that same thread. Another person said, my son was saving up to buy a toy. One of my kids spilled a drink on one of my favorite books and destroyed it. My son grabbed his money and with his older sister's help used an iPad to try to buy me a new one on Amazon. Isn't that sweet? Used his own money that he was saving up for the toy to buy his mom a book to replace the one that got destroyed.
So did he have like digital money or?
No, it sounds like his older sister helped him to order one on their iPad.
Okay, got
Isn't that cool? Yeah, super sweet.
Very considerate. Let's consider if they used their parents' money.
No, he used his money he was saving up for a toy. Yeah. That's super cool. Someone else said, well, as all parents know, it's hard being a parent, especially after you learn firsthand that your kids are listening and watching everything that you do. Yep. And it's hard to be the best version of yourself. Yeah. Well, me and my two 15 and 12-year-old daughters had moved across the country by my family after my divorce for a fresh start. And 2 years in, it was rough. I was beating myself up a lot, and my youngest daughter at the time, 8 years old, is very conscious of those around her and could tell one night. So she locked herself in the room, found this quote on the internet, drew me a picture of the three of us with a quote that read, if you ever feel like giving up, just remember 2 little girls want to be just like you. She even made a stand for it and everything, and it still sits on my desk. Isn't that really sweet?
That is sweet.
I was like, oh.
That does speak to one of my like general concerns is like, making sure like we're able to be good constant examples, which I know we're going to slip. I know like one of the big ones is like not being on our phones too much,
That's
which,
hard,
we use it for, communication for our business, use it for, have to do socials for our business, have to use it for work. And then obviously like we end up using it personally and stuff. And
right.
That's going to be a challenge to like not be like displaying that behavior in front of our kid and stuff,
right.
and like things like that, or like, how I'm driving and stuff, making sure that I'm like exhibiting good driving examples so that when they get to the point of driving that they're not like trying to take on my bad habits or something,
Right. It's hard, but it's a big thing, but we try our best. Not the best is all you can do,
Yeah. Here's hoping they just observe the good stuff and then they're just blind to the other stuff.
I don't know. Hopefully.
Probably not. I don't think that's realistic.
Well, speaking of that, this next story kind of goes into like when you make a mistake and you say the wrong thing and trying to find a way to repair that and make it better. And so, yeah, it starts out kind of rough, but it has a positive ending to it. So, yeah.
All right. It's all about foot and mouth syndrome.
Kinda, yeah.
I suffer from it.
The title of the story is, Am I in the Wrong for Making a Dad Joke? So you can only imagine where that could go.
Yeah.
And this comes from the subreddit Best of Redditor Updates. It was actually originally posted in, Am I in the Wrong, basically.
Or am I the... Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a family-friendly show.
Yeah. So here we go. Note, my stepdaughter, Madeline, was about a year old when I married her mother, Jessica. Madeline's father died before she was born. Madeline is currently 15 and she's rebelling for almost everything. She did something bad, so while picking her up, I set a punishment for her. Then she said, "You're not my dad, I don't have to follow you." Honestly, I got a bit hurt from that, but I understand that she didn't mean it and that she'd probably change. I just replied, "I'm still your legal guardian for the next 3 years, and as long as you're in my house, you have to follow my rules." That happened about 2 days ago. So our family was going grocery shopping, and when Madeline said, "I'm hungry, I need food," I decided to be extremely cheeky and say, "Hi, hungry, I'm not your dad."
Oh,
yeah.
No.
My son just started to laugh uncontrollably. My daughter was just quiet with embarrassment, and my wife was berating me not to stoop down to her level. I honestly thought it was a funny dad joke, and my son agrees, so am I in the wrong? Edit, I did adopt her, so legally I am her parent. So the verdict was that everyone sucks here.
Yeah.
But, that was probably not a good comment to make in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Connotation.
I don't know their dynamic.
Right.
But based off of the snippet given, I wouldn't think that's the place to do it. There's definitely like such situations where I feel like that could be kind of funny,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was this dynamic though. Obviously, the son thought it was funny.
Yeah, but it clearly made her feel embarrassed and was not the right thing in that moment. So more info on the family. We currently have a blended family. She has a stepbrother and a half-sister coming up. Just FYI, my wife is not related to my son biologically. We have a blended family.
Having a blended family definitely complicates the narrative, especially like, the son thought it was funny, but then she didn't.
Right.
Probably didn't appreciate that,
Right, because there's different dynamics. And
right, and that probably splits the dynamic a little bit.
Right. So here's a mini update on the main post that happened a few hours later. It says here, I'll probably give a full update later, but here is what has happened so far. I go to my daughter's room after dinner and I begin talking with her. "Hey, I'm really sorry that I hurt you by the words that I said, and I am really your dad. I changed your diapers, I met your boyfriend, and I plan on helping you through college. And plus, I'm legally your dad, so we're stuck together. But seriously, I'm gonna love you like my daughter, even if you don't think I'm your dad." Then I hugged her. She did start to cry, and I assume that's good. So that was the mini update, and that was just a few hours later.
I missed this detail. Is the brother older then? Is it an older brother?
It doesn't say.
I'm guessing so.
I'm not really sure. It doesn't say.
All right. For some reason, I was just imagining a little kid, but maybe it's actually older than her.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so that was the first update, which already that's good, going in and admitting that was the wrong thing to say and apologizing. That's a huge step too. So like seeing that from a parent's perspective, that was really good. And then final update 2 weeks later. They wrote, "My son found the post and shared it with my daughter. This was after apologizing to her and she cried again. So, last week, we decided to have a father-daughter bonding weekend. Honestly, it was awesome. I took her bowling, to get a manicure, becoming Disney princesses. I looked awesome as Jasmine, and so forth. She loved it. I loved it. Everyone was happy, and then we decided to go out to eat dinner. I'm starving. What do you want, Maddie? Hi, starving. I'm not your daughter."
Okay, now that's funny.
She had the biggest smirk on her face. She hugged me and I kissed her forehead. I'm sure she'd been planning this for weeks.
There you go. See, now it was a joke in referencing an attempted other joke.
Right, exactly.
Which I think makes it better.
I think so too. Well, it was because he acknowledged that it wasn't the right thing to say in that moment.
Right.
And realizing that, like, okay, haha, like I'm kind of poking fun at that like misstep that you made by making that comment.
Yeah.
You know, but kind of being like, we're cool now kind of thing. And I think that was really cool that they had a bonding weekend and he did things that probably are not his favorite thing, like getting manicures and dressing up as Jasmine and all these things. But like to really bond with her and show rather than to just say, I'm your dad, show that he cares. And that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, happy all around.
Indeed.
All right, on to our news article for today. So our news article today actually comes from NPR News. So it's actually a Minnesota story. We live in Minnesota, so that's kind of cool. The title of it is "A Minnesota School Solution to Student Conflict. Stop Everything and Talk It Out." So this is a very interesting way that they handle conflict in this school. So they start kids from the age of kindergarten into this mindset and this way of handling things, where as soon as there's any sort of conflict among students, they like stop everything and they have the students go to a conflict resolution conference where they have a mediator adult sit with them and they talk it out and try to figure out what happened, hear both kids' perspectives, and they have rules for these conferences that the kids have to follow so that it's respectful, and then they figure out a solution to the problem. So these conferences happen pretty much every day. It's at the Friends School. That's what the school's called. And they have little stations set up in the halls where they do these. So Caroline Schneiders is the one who runs the school's conflict resolution program. And she said that it's a huge part of the school's culture, and kids are like, it's become such a norm that the kids don't hesitate to request them. So they can actually put in like a request to have one, even if it's not like the conflict happened today. If they're having an ongoing issue with a kid in class or even their teacher, they can request a conference and then they have an outside adult come and mediate. And so the kid, even if it was, again, if it was with their teacher, they can sit and talk about like, hey, my teacher's making me feel this way in class. And the outside adult can be a mediator and be like, hey, why is that? Like, why are you feeling this way? And like talk with the teacher, hey, were you aware that you were doing that or that this could make them feel that way, and find a resolution to the problem. Which I think is super cool. To quote Schneider, she says that one of the main takeaways, especially with our youngest kids, when they first start doing the conferences, that not everybody thinks the same way. Not everybody experiences the same things, and that we have to sit down and listen to each other. And they have, like I said, they have rules for their conversations that the kids have to follow. So, for example, don't talk over each other. They have to let each other fully speak out their thoughts. It's fine if you did it. You're not in trouble here. It's not like we're trying to dole out punishments. We're talking through figuring out what happened. Be safe and be respectful. So they have the kids always list out what are the rules before we go into this conference, which is kind of smart. Let's see.
Well, the smart thing about it, it's that they're doing it early.
Yeah, starting.
It would not be smart if you just jumped into it in middle school or something like that. You know,
yeah.
Like that would, I could see that going so poorly. But if you're starting at like kindergarten, like that's, you're setting up for future success.
Yeah. For sure. And they made a comment here too that it's very empowering for the child to feel like that they're having their voice heard. And that's also like, I think it's the most like whoa thing is with the whole teacher aspect, being able to also, if they're having a conflict with one of the adults, to also be able to voice that opinion, because that is something where I think sometimes students don't feel like they're being heard by their teacher or being accommodated in the way they need to be accommodated. And that leads to like resentment in the classroom, which can lead to them acting out more. And all these other problems that just snowball because they're not feeling like they can voice anything against a teacher because it's an adult, you know what I mean? And so being able to do that in a respectful way with a mediator adult to kind of help with that situation and make it better for the student, hopefully. I think that's really, really cool. In addition to the whole peer aspect as well, which is also super important. Because as adults, we don't always handle things great either, or listen to other people's opinions, even kids, you know. What? This is a podcast.
Well, giving something for our visual people.
What were you doing? So
it's like, not me. Like, I'm good.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, not at all. No, I know, never. No. But we need to be like able to listen to other people's opinions in a respectful way. And so that's something that everybody, not just kids, can benefit from. And teaching kids young to do that, I think that could help our next generation to be hopefully better at listening to opinions and not rushing to anger because they don't agree.
Well,
you know?
If nothing else, I think it's good to teach and develop the idea of communication. Because how many issues could be solved by just talking?
Exactly.
You know, whether it's stories you hear from other people, or if you listen to other Reddit story shows and stuff, so many times the solution is just talk to them.
It's true.
So even if this is kind of accomplishing that in a way of talk to each other in a way that is contributive and helpful and constructive. That's the word I was looking for.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I mean, so many. If you were to just scroll through the "Am I in the wrong" thread?
Yeah.
Like you said, almost every single one, it's like, did you try talking to the person about this? Did you
try considering their opinion or their thoughts or their experiences?
Yes, exactly. Let them talk. Don't talk over them. Don't assume you know what they think or feel. But yeah, like I said, when they start in kindergarten, they actually have 4th grade buddies that they learn from as their mentors to teach them this new conflict resolution conference idea. So they go in with their peers teaching them and telling them that this is a good thing, this is how it works, so that they come in understanding how it works and feeling confident in it. They also talked about in this article how some of the students even found that it's helped them to have conversations about political stuff as they get older in school in a more respectful way when they have political differences, and how that has really made a difference. So
can we learn that as adults?
I know, right?
Probably too late.
Margot Sullivan, a graduate of the Friends School in Minnesota, said the skills she learned in grade school helped her talk to people who are more politically conservative than she is. So yeah, you can't really understand someone else's opinions or views if you're trying to talk over them, she said. Yeah. So yeah, really good points. And I think it's really cool that the school is doing this. And I think it'd be cool if they were to implement this in other elementary schools too. I think it would help a lot. But yeah, so kind of cool. And with that, we will end today's podcast episode. Tune in a couple weeks here. We're going to have our Halloween episode. I know. Can you believe that it's already Halloween? Yeah, I was going through planning out these episodes, and I was like, whoa, wait a second. That's the Halloween week. It's a week and a half after that. That's crazy. So yeah, we got some great Halloween stories lined up. I'm very excited to share those. I love Halloween. And if you have any positive stories that you would like to share, we would love to hear them. Please send them to us at upliftingpositivestories@gmail.com.
And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button or leave a comment. And again, if you're enjoying the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever, please leave us a review. That would help us a lot to, continue to reach more people.
That'd be awesome. Thanks so much for listening, and we hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
And stay positive.